Alright, today I'm talking about Tom Ford's Black Lacquer. So, this one, I'm surprised that as many people like it as they do. In a way, I guess a lot of people that are really into fragrances, I guess I'm surprised they liked it as much as they did because to me, it's very like nose piercing synthetic. In my opinion, I feel like it's an ISOE super balm. I think there's a lot of that in there, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I do feel like people attributing this fragrance to being really weak. It's probably the ISOE super making people go nose blind to it, basically. But what I got was from without reading any reviews or watching videos, when I smelled it, I got ISOE Super and like a light cedar. And then, and it was like nose piercing. Looking back at it, I feel like it's kind of like a leather note, something that's in a lot of zoologist fragrances, but less pronounced of a leather, but still a nose piercing qualities. After looking at the notes, I feel like maybe it's the pink pepper and the olibanum. But I feel like there's some kind of slight leather, slight cedar. Everything's blended really well to where nothing stands out. It's a very minimal fragrance to me, like ISOE Super and then like light cedar. But I almost feel like I want to say Cashmerian or some kind of aroma chemical in there, but I'm not sure. It's just very minimal. It's almost like Tom Ford is making a Diptyque fragrance or something, like Diptyque's paper fragrance or some of Diptyque's more expensive, more modern fragrances. I feel like they're real minimal. It's just like it's just like a minimal good smelling skin scent. I don't think this is going to be mass appealing. I think this will be one that you'll find in Estee Lauder's cosmetic company store. Eventually, this goes for $405 for a 50 ml. But I'm surprised people are hyping this up. But Tom Ford's Bose Arcane to me is very similar to this. I feel like Bose Arcane is like a more, it's ISOE Super, but the cedar is a little bit more pronounced in that fragrance compared to this. And that one, maybe a slight foresty animalic feel. Although that one's very minimal too. When it comes down to it, it's just like cedar and ISOE Super. But at least it evokes kind of like a place, a feeling. Whereas this one is more of a smell to me. So yeah, Bose Arcane, I think on Fragrantica has like a dozen reviews or something, and Tom Ford's Black Lacquer has like 100. So that's kind of surprising to me. I mean, this one does have that what's popular and designer exclusive or niche fragrances kind of smell. Like I kind of get Bulgari exclusives smell in this, but better for sure. Those are kind of headache inducing, some of them. But yeah, this is another Tom Ford fragrance, very similar to Bose Arcane, maybe Ebon and Fume, Mer Mysterio, Santo Blush. It doesn't smell like those, but it has a lot of the same components, like the Tom Ford woody smell, I guess you could say, the ISOE Super. But yeah, so the opening ISOE Super, little bit of cedar, and then mid to dry down, I'm getting more almost like a nuttiness, like this warmness in a way. Still the nose piercingness of it too, but it's kind of like the nose piercingness of Perfume de Empire fragrances too. Like I don't know what chemical that is. I'm not sure, but I'm almost there's ISOE Super in this for sure. But the mid to dry down, it's almost like more warm, slight nuttiness maybe. Like just slight smokiness, warmness, nuttiness. Yeah, maybe like slight leather. Everything's so slight. It's like Tom Ford aspects, but just toned down with the synthetic chemical bumped way up, the ISOE super bumped way up. There's no heavy sweetness like in Mer Mysterior. There's no designer aspect in this either. Um, Although I don't think Ebon and Fume had a designer aspect. A designer aspect in like the designer synthetic chemicals like super and amber woody or limonol or any of those just crazy and Broxen powerful things you find in designer fragrances. Like Mer Mysterior had that amber woody designer aroma chemical, although it didn't smell designer like, but it had some of the components. Ebon and Fume had a sweetness to it too, but more in a niche way. It wasn't That one wasn't bad, but it kind of just disappeared on me really quick. Same thing, ISOE Super I go nose blind to. This one doesn't necessarily disappear, but it's just like a light synthetic aroma chemical fragrance, like almost like that. Maybe the blending's done really well because nothing stands out. It's not a fine picture, it's like a smell. And I mean, I guess it goes good with dressed up in a suit, nighttime formal. I you know I would say maybe the slight warmness and nuttiness and cedar, maybe it's better for the fall season if I had to pick. I don't see an issue with wearing this whenever. Maybe I would avoid. I don't know. I guess it's yeah. If you're gonna wear it in spring and summer, maybe the night. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, $405 for a 50 ml is ridiculous. I think you can find better out there. I've seen this being referred or people say it's similar to Acro's Ink. Acro's Ink, I was actually surprised when I smelled Acro's Ink because it smelled really good. It was almost like the base of an oud fragrance or something. Like I've smelled it before, but it was done really well. Kind of remind me of Les Miserables Patchouli Noisette in a way, but without cypre oil. I feel like Acro Ink, but I prefer Acro Ink over this. If you like the Tom Ford woodiness and you like your ISOE super high, then I think you will prefer this. Um, but if you like the more like how do I explain it? Maybe more Middle Eastern or like the base of ouds, but done really well. Maybe Acro Ink. I feel like Acro Ink is just a less synthetic nose piercing fragrance than this, and I think it's, I don't know, 30 ml for 130, so it's half the price of this about. And I feel like that one's better done, smells higher quality to me. Just doesn't smell like it uses expensive ingredients at all. Yeah, I feel like I would rather wear I would rather wear like La Ligue Sans Green Or than this probably, but it's not bad. I feel it sounds like I'm hating on this fragrance, but it's not bad. Like I like it. I would be happy with the bottle for, I don't know, maybe if I could get it for $140 or something. I wouldn't pay more than 200 for this. I definitely think you'll see it probably within a few months at the cosmetic company store. I don't see this being a big seller. Customers aren't going to smell it and be like, oh, that's so good, I got to buy it. I think that customers that are buying Mer Mysterior or Ebon and Fume, they might like this because it's like a more minimal approach. But I don't think this is a return to form by Tom Ford. Like, it's not as good as Tobacco Vanille or Noir de Noir. Um, some of the earlier fragrances, like I prefer Costa Azura, Noir Extreme, Perfume and EDP. It's good. I don't think this is gonna be a hit like ombre leather or anything. But yeah, I would try it out. If you like minimal like fragrance, like ISO is super clean, sophisticated scents like Tom Ford's woody fragrances or even Diptyque to an extent, then I would try this out.